But no, you know, the reason we were interested in talking to you on this particular topic, you were very outspoken previously when there were some juvenile escapes, no notification. Your office, other, the public who might be helping, able to help capture somebody, and the victims also not finding out until it's in the news. So now there's an actual state law requiring almost immediate notification. Yet we saw on Monday, Carlos Taylor bolts from juvenile court. This wasn't in the middle of the night thing. It was run, climb fences, chased by officers, and no notification for more than 2 hours, even though there's now a law, became effective August 1st, requiring notification within 10 minutes. What's your reaction to that lapse?
So, number one, as I said out here, I think very early on after the escape of another individual and no notice to the public of any sort, I said it was absurd. I didn't even think we needed a law to let people know that someone who's supposed to be in custody, who's charged with dangerous or violent crimes, if they get out, you got to let the people know who are responsible for catching him know immediately that he got out. There were people from folks from my office, the juvenile division, who they saw his flip-flop in the where he climbed over. And I mean, this is absurd. I don't understand. And there's another component of this, not just the lack of notice. I mean, I think Pat Connick's law is great, belts and suspenders. If you didn't realize, if you're supposed to be holding someone in custody, that you got to let somebody know if you lose them, the fact that he codified that, I thank Mr. Connick so much for that, but they still didn't do it, right? And these are small things that have to happen to keep people safe. The faster those necessary common sense things happen, which are now legally required, the better chance we have of someone not getting carjacked or someone else being victimized from that process. The other thing about that is very deeply frustrating is this idea that he was not in some sort of restraints. I've read the law that's been cited. It appears to be a discretionary call about when a person needs to be in restraints and when a person does not need to be in restraints. I don't think there's anything traumatizing about protecting the court staff, the lawyers, the victims, the survivors, the ADAs that are in court handling their business from a person who has proven themselves dangerous or is just simply accused of being dangerous. This could have turned out far worse than it did. We should all be thanking God that something else didn't happen within that public space where there were nothing but innocent people there. This is not just a matter of catching a person, that's a big part of it, but it's also a matter of protecting the court process. I believe there should be a default that a person is going to be in some sort of restraints if they're charged with a violent crime or suspected of a violent crime. It appears to be discretionary. I think we need to, you've got JGIC now saying they're not going to bring anybody to court until they've done an overhaul. Well, that's going to bring the process of moving forward on cases to a bit of a halt. I think the common sense approach is use the shackles that exist to keep people restrained if they have been deemed dangerous. This is not rocket science.
And you point out the carjacking that police now attribute to Carlos Taylor. Could that immediate notification, the way we see with, let's say, active shooters or escapes from adult prison, maybe have caused an alert in the neighborhood, a lockdown at the dental school, and maybe prevented a serious carjacking?
Absolutely. I mean, this was preventable. Handcuffs, shackles. I think that's just a common sense piece that was missed here. I don't think there's any law that would have prevented that. That should have been in place. But if we're going to keep seeing things like this, perhaps we need a siren around the complex that's going to let neighboring businesses and institutions know that someone is on the lam or someone has gotten out. But it is important to let the public know that this area right now is no longer safe. And if someone has absconded from jail, whatever custody that is, and these have been all points bulletin. Every citizen, every law enforcement agency can play a role in making sure this person gets brought to justice. Their picture needs to be immediately sent out so that if someone is getting dental work done, driving down the street, and they see someone matching that picture, they can let the authorities know, and we can all work together to bring the person back to justice.
Is your office in conversations with the JJIC about using those restraints, and if so, how is that conversation going?
You know, I still need to understand why this could even happen. And I need to have a few more conversations about why the default wouldn't be if someone is alleged to be involved in gang activity, if it's clear this person is dangerous enough that they're going to be transferred to adult court and their lawyers and the defendant knows about it, it's a heightened sort of bar there. And so why there, and I still am trying to understand if this person was being transported by law enforcement or corrections or a social worker. I've gotten incomplete information about it potentially being a social worker. Social worker is not the person who should be transporting a dangerous defendant to and from court. The last time, I think you had the story, Mike, where it showed the individual hopping out of a car and running very slow from the vehicle that he was in, and it appeared that the people who were transporting him, one of them was still on their phone texting or playing Scrabble. I don't know what they were doing, but it just didn't look the way that you would expect a person to look transporting someone to court that is charged with a crime.
So your office is in conversations with JJIC about this?
We're going to be in conversations with JJIC, with the judges, with anyone that played a role in how this unfolded. The notice issue is a huge issue. The lack of restraints is a huge issue, and it's one that we can't wait to solve.
And one thing you mentioned, a possible transfer to adult court. Do you know the Carlos Taylor case? He was wanted on pretty serious violent crimes. He was, prior to this now adult carjacking, or carjacking as an adult, was he about to have a motion for a transfer?
I don't want to get into the details of the case, but what I will tell you is there's enough information that everyone was on notice that this was not the breaking of a window. He was not there for spray painting on a wall. And if discretion can give a person cause to say maybe he should be restrained, the law allowed it. He should have been restrained. He would not have been able to run out of that building. He would not have been able to carjack that poor woman if he had been in handcuffs or restraints. More should have been brought to bear in that particular situation. You had something?
I did.
Did you have something?
Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
You good?
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you, man. All right, thank you.